traditional area. Can you please come and chair it for me and talk to the youth for me? I said, sure. So I went to Brownhafu. There I met Domahene. On my way to Suma, Domahene was sweeping with ladies playing music behind him. He was sweeping and weeding from town to town. Apparently, he had also been invited to Suma. And I got down from the car and I joined him. And it was joyous. The people there couldn't believe. So finally we ended up there, and the rest is history, so they say. So maybe we can learn from each other. First, we must learn to understand that there's nothing wrong in copying. In fact, Domahene's example to me demonstrated how confident the gentleman is. He's a very noble man. To have sat on TV and say that my celebration will not end until I compliment somebody as he has never met. This is deep.
Now, Nana, those are examples that actually tell of maybe the need for people to, like you said, copy or follow, as it were. But Kushia is just on the lines of the River Pra, and we had the opportunity to actually go and see the extent of damage that has been caused to the river. You have been here as traditional leader for a few decades. What was the situation then and now, and how worrying a situation is it for you when you look at what the state of the river is today?
When I was installed as a chief here, I was taken to River Pra as part of the tradition, and I had a bath, let's say.
Okay.
And when I got there, I was quite reluctant to go and have a bath with all these things that...
Honorable members, let's vary the order of business. Honorable members, at commencement of public business, presentation of papers by the chairman of the committee. Is the report on committee and defense ready to be laid?
The report is ready, Mr. Speaker. So if you will indulge me, I will lay on behalf of the committee. My friend opposite, the minority whip, has intimated to me that he agrees.
Well, minority chief, let me hear from you.
Speaker, he's my good friend. Except that these days he has forgotten me. So I will gladly yield.
Honorable member, don't forget about him. So you may proceed to have the paper laid. Item numbered 7I and II.
Report of the Committee on Defense and Interior on the annual budget estimates of the Ministry of the Interior for the year ending 31st December 2025. Report of the Committee on Defense and Interior on the annual budget estimates of the Ministry of Defense for the year ending 31st December 2025.
Honorable members, report duly laid, and it is for distribution to honorable members of this august house. Yes, majority leader, which item do we take next?
Mr. Speaker, let's take item 45, motion number 45.
members, motion numbered 45 at page 11 of today's order paper. Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that, notwithstanding the provision of Order 1041.
Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, the majority, the leader of the House, he knows what to do. The said item is advertised in the name of the substantive Minister for Finance. It cannot be the case that without application, the Deputy Minister will be allowed to do it. That's not right.
Yes, you are right.
Indeed, it was an oversight. So, Mr. Speaker, by your leave, if the Deputy Minister for Finance...
Leave is hereby granted. So, Deputy Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I move that, notwithstanding the provision of Order 1041 of the Standing Orders, which requires that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given, the motion for the second reading of the Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025 may be moved today. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Motion moved. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable members, this is a procedural motion. The motion has been moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Honorable members, being a procedural motion, the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion numbered 45, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Honourable members, the consequential motion is 46. That is not it. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, let's move to item 51. We'll take all the procedural motions and then prepare the team for taking the substantive motion, which is the second readings for all of them. So if we go to 51, 51 is also a procedural motion in relation to the Revenue Administration Amendment Bill. So I similarly apply for the Deputy Finance Minister to move that one as well.
Permission granted. Motion number 51. Deputy Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move again that, notwithstanding the provision of Standing Orders 1041, which requires that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given, the motion for the second reading of the Revenue Administration Amendment Bill 2025 may be moved today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, motion number 51 accordingly moved. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I advise to second the motion. Thank you.
Honourable members, the motion have been moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, this is a procedural motion. Being a procedural motion, the question therefore is, as many as are in favor of the motion number 51, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will skip 56 and go to 57. which is also a procedural motion in respect of the emission levy repeal bill. Mr. Speaker, I similarly apply for the Deputy Finance Minister to move the motion.
Leave hereby granted. Deputy Minister responsible for finance, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that motion number 57, which is on page 13 on today's order paper, be moved today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
No, leave it there. Honourable members, motion accordingly moved. Any seconder?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. There being a procedural motion, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion numbered 57 say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader.
So, Speaker, another procedural motion numbered 63 in respect of the income tax amendment bill. And I similarly apply for leave for the Deputy Minister for Finance to move the motion.
Leave granted. Deputy Minister responsible for finance, you have the floor. Motion number 63.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. So I move that motion number 63 on today's order paper, page 14, be moved now. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, motion accordingly moved. Any seconder?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I rise to again second the motion. Thank you.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, this is also a procedural motion. Therefore, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion number 63, say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion numbered 63 is accordingly adopted. Majority Leader.
Right, Honourable Speaker, motion number 69 is next in respect of the abridgment of time for the reading of the second reading of the value-added tax amendment bill. Similarly, apply for the Deputy Minister of Finance to move the motion.
Members, leave accordingly granted. Deputy Minister for Finance, you have the floor. Motion number 69.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that motion number 69 on pages 15 and 16 of today's order paper be moved today.
Members, motion moved. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. Thank you very much.
Members, please, the motion is moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, this is also a procedural motion. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, motion numbered 69 at page 15 and 16 of today's order paper is accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader, any indication?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, so we'll go back to 46 and take the motion for the second reading of the electronic transfer levy repeal bill 2025. And again, Mr. Speaker, I ask for your leave so that the Deputy Minister for Finance will move the motion.
Honourable members, leave is accordingly granted.
Thank you, Mr.
Minority
Speaker.
Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I humbly move that.
No, the Chief Whip is on the floor.
Speaker, the Deputy Minister is clearly trying to implement the 24-hour economy. He's in a hurry, but he should tread with caution. Speaker, I have no objection, just to caution and to pray the leader of the House that these are very important bills, very, very important bills, very critical bills. In fact, it cannot be the case that, Speaker, the deputy minister will shepherd all these bills. We can start with him, but the minister should be called. At least the first is on his way. How long will he be here? We can grant them at least the first two. The deputy minister, who is one of our own, can shepherd it. But the subsequent ones, as we swim deeper, the minister should be here. And this is, principles, second reading. It's very important the minister comes and elucidates on these very important bills. So he may start, but after the first two, you have to resume your seat and let your boss take over.
Honorable member, we've heard you. Yes, Honorable Deputy Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to
motion numbered 46.
Mr. Speaker, I humbly move that the electronic transfer levy bill 2025 be now read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The chairman of the Finance Committee may present the report of the committee on the bill.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion, but in doing so, I would like to present the committee's report. Mr. Speaker, the electronic transaction levy, otherwise known as e-levy, was imposed by the government of Ghana with the aim of widening the tax net. But, Mr. Speaker, it faced a lot of resistance from the people of Ghana.
Honorable members, based on our standing order, second reading, motion for second reading, we don't second.
Okay.
So honorable members should take note of it accordingly.
So the current government decided that based on the impact that this was having on disposable incomes of ordinary Ghanaians, as part of the tax reforms that were introduced, the government decided to abolish and repeal the act that imposed this. Mr. Speaker, we were told that the fiscal impact of this single repeal will amount to 1.946 billion for the fiscal year 2025. Mr. Speaker, the committee deliberated on this matter and came to the conclusion by a unanimous decision of the committee that this should be recommended to the House for the repeal to proceed. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Honorable members, the motion was moved and the report of the Finance Committee is presented. Honorable members, pursuant to Standing Order 127, a full debate shall arise on the principles of the bill on the basis of the explanatory memorandum and the report of the Finance Committee. Honorable members, as I always indicate, this is the second reading. This is the time for us to debate the rationale behind the bill, the principles, the mischief that the bill is seeking to cure. The floor is now yours. Yes, Honorable Stephen Amwa.
Mr. Speaker, I also rise to support the repeal of this electronic bill, but then I have a few comments. Mr. Speaker, if you read the bill, there's this essential extract that illustrates the fact that when it was being passed, it faced fierce resistance. So we realize that the repeal is being done not because our fiscal space is presented in a manner that will offer us the needed expected impact on our socio-economic framework as a country, but because of the resistance Mr. Speaker, apart from that, you also realize that although there seemed to be restoration of our economy, our fiscal space hasn't also gotten to the level that we had to quickly repeal the bill. There are a few things, Mr. Speaker, I don't think that time will permit us to do this. I only advise that in doing some of these things, the rationale and the reasons should be said that our fiscal space and as our economy as a whole will be accorded the needed decision that will rather augur well for the good people of this country. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support the repeal of this bill.
That's Honorable Sapper.
Yes.
Yes, my neighbor.
Thank you very much. I'm in support of this bill because when we were taking through the bill, we realized that there are a lot of imbalances in the bill. For instance, it came to the fore that assuming myself and my wife, we've gone to shopping and I decided to pay with cash. And having paid in cash, I will not be charged for any additional cost or whatever. But my wife who would like to use a Momo or the mobile money to pay will be asked to pay for this electronic levy. Based on that, I realized that we have suffered so much as far as these imbalances are concerned. So I am of a full view and full support of this repeal, and it should be repealed now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Brian Achampo. Members, how many speakers are we taking on each motion? Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support a repeal of the electronic transfer levy bill. But, Mr. Speaker, in doing so, reading the report, there are some few lines that I think that we should look at. 6.2 states that, and I quote, however, the imposition of the e-levy was met with resistance from the public as it adversely impacted on the disposable income of the citizenry. But the Speaker is being presented as though everybody opposed the e-levy. And I think that we should look at the language that some members of the public opposed the e-levy. Also, the rationale, the second rationale espoused in 6.3, the Speaker says that the reason for repeal is to ensure that there is availability of additional disposable income to households and to reduce the tax burden on individuals. Mr. Speaker, if this is a reason why we are repealing the e-levy, then e-levy is 1%. Why don't we go and repeal VAT, which is about 17%, if we are looking at ensuring that there's disposable income for citizens? That cannot be a proper and true rationale for the repeal of the e-levy. Rather, Mr. Speaker, the report goes to say that the e-levy, the repeal of the e-levy, is to remove the disincentive to electronic transaction, which is a wonderful idea. But if we go and say that it is to allow for the citizens to have disposable income, I think that this particular rationale, we should look at it again. But with these few comments, I do support the repeal of the bill. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, once again, the issue of electronic transfer levy is before this House, and I rise to support the passage of the bill repealing the electronic transfer levy. So, Speaker, the report says that if we pass the electronic transfer levy repeal bill, there will be more disposable income in the hands of individuals and households. Why is it so? Individuals and households would have lost the money by way of the deductions imposed by the tax. If we repeal the tax and then the individuals are no longer going to be making those payments by way of the deductions, the money will remain in their hands. And that is the basis for the committee saying that there will be more disposable income in the hands of the individual. It means the money will now be available to them to spend. That is what disposable income is. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the fiscal impact analysis, which our standing order says we should consider during this stage of the debate, the committee says the committee was informed that the repeal of the levy will result in an estimated loss of 1.946 billion Ghana cedis for the 2025 fiscal year. What it means, Mr. Speaker, is that 1.946 billion, that is close to 2 billion Ghana cedis, would have been paid by Ghanaians to the government by way of the deductions based on the tax. But if we pass this bill, the deduction will no longer take place and government will lose close to 2 billion Ghana cedis. But the 2 billion Ghana cedis that government is going to lose will now come to Ghanaians. So in effect, individual Ghanaians who ordinarily would have lost 2 billion Ghana cedis will now retain their 2 billion Ghana cedis. And government that would have gained 2 billion Ghana cedis by way of deductions from Momo transfers, government will lose the 2 billion Ghana cedis. So this single legislative measure is going to pass on 2 billion Ghana cedis to Ghanaians. 2 billion Ghana cedis. 2 billion Ghana cedis. So this is a gift of 2 billion Ghana cedis being given back to Ghanaian citizens. 2 billion that they would have paid to government will now be their 2 billion. So this legislation, if passed, gives Ghanaians 2 billion Ghana cedis as disposable income that they can spend. They can pay their children's school fees. They can, build their homes. They can, those of us who want to get married, we can get married with it. Mr. Speaker, 2 billion Ghana cedis is being given back to Ghanaians by the passage of this. And not just this year. If we had continued the legislation next year, another 2 billion Ghana cedis, which would have been paid by Ghanaians to government, will remain in their hands. And then the following year, another 2 billion Ghana cedis. So starting from this year, every year, Ghanaians are going to get 2 billion Ghana cedis, which would have gone to government, staying in their hands. Mr. Speaker, this is the policy consideration that is informing the decision to pass this legislation. And Mr. Speaker, I support the passage of this bill and urge colleagues to vote for the passage of the bill. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief.
Speaker, the consideration earlier was that the Leader of the House will conclude. I feel compelled to make this comment. I'm speaking in support, but just for the record, Speaker, let's all bear in mind that the rate as of that time was, we started off with 2.5%. The position of the minority then was that we should take it to 1%. And I heard What is no? That was said. And I heard then minority leader, very loud, all over the place. In fact, Honorable Haruna Idrisu engaged us that if it's going to be 1%, we are all for it. Now it is back to square one, 1%. So in effect, what have you done? Well, this is a very essential point that must go into the records. So we are now back to 1%, which was their original position. So we haven't done anything new. Fact be told, we haven't done anything new. The 1% is what we are now touting. And that was what you spoke to earlier. You check the records there. Is it not 1%? Majority, are you not reducing it to 1%? In our manifestos, because we said we're going to abolish it. In our manifesto, and anybody can trace that, we had said that we're going to abolish it.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Are you praying?
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
The yield levy is being abolished.
The bill before us, is it to reduce it to 1% or to abolish it?
To completely abolish the yield levy.
Leaders,
So that we give 2 billion to the people of Ghana.
Please speak into the record.
2 billion to the people of Ghana.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, please speak to the record. The bill before us, our second reading, is it to reduce the electronic levy to 1% or to repeal? The question is directed to Minority Chief Whip.
Leadership is, Mr. Speaker.
You didn't make the submission, Honorable Brian Achampong. He made the submission. That is why I am making reference to the bill before us to say, is it to abolish it or to reduce it to 1%? Honorable Minority Chief Whip, I want to hear you on this matter.
Speaker, you hear me. Speaker, you hear me. So the argument back and forth, the argument back and forth was that we should bring it to 1%. And they also supported that argument, that it should be brought to 1%. If it's the case that, no.
Honorable Minority Leader, my question is simple.
Speaker, my response is
with reference to the bill in issue, is the bill trying to